we just actually put out a press release yesterday saying we have 15 million channels have been installed on Roku devices. So we launched the channel store November a year ago, so it's been about 18 months. Let's see, 15 million over that time. We have 225 channels now in the channel store, and they're everything from Netflix, Pandora, Hulu Plus, to music channels. There's a lot of international content now available, and a whole wide variety of web content. The latest thing we announced was a partnership with Epix, which is the premium movie service from Paramount, Lionsgate, and MGM. So it will be an authenticated viewing platform for Epix subscribers.
So tell us about how many units are out there now and kind of where that's going, and you have newer units, or tell us about.
Sure. So we have 3 models that we announced in the fall, from $59, $79, and $99. And they vary based on, they all have wireless, but the low-end one has Wi-Fi G, and the higher-end one has dual band N. And there's difference in the $99 one has a USB connector. So there's, depending on what you want, there's 3 models, but they all play the same content. The biggest thing for us now from a business standpoint is that we're out in retail now. So up until the end of last year, we were basically selling either through Roku.com or through Amazon. Now we're in Best Buy, Radio Shack, Fry's, and BJ's, which really makes it exposed to a lot larger audience. So from a sales standpoint, we announced we were about 1 million units at the end of the year. We haven't announced a new number, but it's way north of that now, given 5 months of continuing growing sales since that point. And the use, but they get high usage. Obviously, people are downloading a lot of channels. So we're pretty pleased with how things are right now.
You were just on a panel about cord cutting, and what is going on in terms of sort of over the top, where things are going, and your role in that?
Yeah. So we were just talking about on the panel was we do find that there are some people who, after purchasing a Roku box, cut their cable or satellite subscription, sort of 15 to 20%. And so we survey our users afterwards, and another 15 to 20% who cut back. So the way we look at it is there's a set of people who are looking for alternatives, and they find Roku as part of that alternative. So for one reason or another, the traditional $75 a month or $100 a month cable package isn't right for them. That's more content they want or too expensive, and they look for ways now that there's options over the internet. And Roku is part of that solution. So there is some cord cutting going on. Now, if you look at the total universe of 105 million cable households or subscription video households, whatever that number is, that number in that universe is hard to measure. So when you hear people talking, you hear people say, yes, it's happening. You hear people say, no, it isn't. And I think it is more a question of the scale on which it's happening. And would these people, if it weren't for an over-the-top alternative, be doing something else, or would they be subscribing? I don't know. So we're seeing it, but I think in the scheme of the whole country, it's still small. But I think it's a trend. I think it's going to grow. We just don't. It's hard to measure exactly right now how big that is.
At what point will we see broadcast networks or cable networks on Roku, do you think?
Well, so we have Hulu Plus today, which has ABC, Fox, and NBC shows. Plus it has a daily show from MTVN. I'm not sure if you go to the cable channels it has. But, I mean, that's very popular, actually, on Roku. I mean, these are people who have Netflix. Typically, most of our users have Netflix. Many of them use the Amazon's video on demand service and Hulu Plus. So maybe it's for those people who don't have a subscription package. They're the ones who use it. But so far, Hulu Plus has been very popular. Beyond that, we'll see. It's a changing world.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us about Epix. Like, why is that better than? Is it better than HD on demand from Amazon, or is it?
So it's a set of windows in a set of movies in a certain window. So they have exclusive rights to those movies in their window. So during that window, it might not be available on Amazon. Certainly not on a subscription package anywhere else. They may have it VOD. So it's for that window. They're large, several thousand movies. And then the second thing that's really significant about it compared to a lot of the traditional cable satellite is they'll have most or all those movies available, certainly all the ones that are in that window, on demand. So for users who may not subscribe to a system that has as big an on-demand library as they can put on the web, it'll be an advantage over that. So I think it'll be a really good experience for people, given the size of their library, and it's Paramount, Lionsgate, MGM, and they have some smaller studios. I think it's going to be really popular.
Netflix, it's incredible.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
What's happening there with Netflix and Roku?
So what's interesting, we're still great partners with them. They still are the largest single source for our users. Most all our users have Netflix. It's such a great value for $8 a month. Great library, super easy to navigate. So our strategy is still, we try to have a great Netflix experience. We've got a really smooth, easy navigation of Netflix. We do see, even though their usage grows, I think in total, other usage on Roku is growing faster. So, it's kind of like Netflix is growing and other things, that 225 channels. So I think for us, we just want to offer, people want exercise videos, people want international content, people want music. We're trying to kind of offer a wide variety, even though Netflix is still the single most popular one.
And talk about some of the smaller groups, like Blip TV is on there, BTV is on Blips, it's on. What do you find bubbling up in terms of the sort of the long tail or whatever you'd call it, the smaller guys?
I think what it comes down to is it's interesting. And there's some people, some channels that bring an audience, like Revision 3, for example. There's a very focused audience of kind of current tech news and media. CNET's been very popular since we had a specific CNET channel. I think the challenging thing is still you have to get content in front of people where they can find it. So the things that it's interesting. We have a lot of web content, and it gets so all of it gets watched. But it's interesting how important it is to promote and find the right segments for different content. So, for example, the BTV audience might be like a similar audience that might do Twit TV or CNET. So we try to think about how we can now go forward and how do we sort of, not exactly package, but let people be aware of, hey, there's this kinds of content if you're interested in what's new in technology, or there's this kind of, if you're interested in cooking. So I think rather than it just being a large group of go find content, I think the next step for us is to help audiences find all the content that's available on Roku, and which I think will just increase usage even more.